is Alicia Menendez tonight, and we continue our conversation on virginity. In Hollywood, some of the most famous celebrities have tied their brand to their purity.
That's just something that's part of growing up, and that's just something that we all have to deal with.
I'm gonna keep my promise to myself and for my family and to God.
True love waits.
Yes, and I have a necklace that says true love waits too.
We're big believers in that.
For us, it means that we'll treat ladies with respect.
That's a lot of sharing. And well, we know that many of those stars did not hold their promise of remaining virgins until marriage. So here's my question. What are the consequences when stars closely peg their brand to virginity and then fail to fulfill that promise? Joining us to talk about celebrities and their virginity is Jawn Murray, pop culture expert and editor of alwaysalist.com, and Corey Lopez, founder of lifestyle blog carpethat.com. Great to see you both. Corey, I want to start with you. Here's my main question. Are these celebrities trying to be good role models, or are they trying to cash in on a wholesome brand?
Well, you know, I think that every single part of a celebrity image these days is very carefully crafted by a massive team that is putting together their public image. So it may be truthful for some of these celebrities that they are trying to be a virgin until marriage, but that doesn't mean that there isn't also a publicity stunt in there, because they are for sure, you know, still selling sex in a way, because the very act of publicly advertising that you are a virgin is inviting someone, and especially your fans, to think of you in a sexualized way.
Yeah, Jawn, I mean, it seems to me that it makes sense when they're young stars and they're coming out and they're trying to sell their records and their books and their concert tickets fundamentally to parents who are actually buying them. And then they cross this threshold where they become adults, and that purity pledge no longer makes the same sense.
Absolutely, and we have to also keep in mind that most times the reason we know that these young artists are virgins, or that they're trying to abstain until marriage and these pledges that they make, is because we, the media, ask them. They're in some interview setting where we're asking them some sexually charged question, even as teenagers, and they respond. So that's why we know about the Jonas Brothers and Jordan Sparks and people like that. And I applaud them, because with the Miley Cyruses of the business over-sexualizing everything they do in an effort to be grown, I applaud people who say, I do want to take being a role model seriously, and sex can lead to other things, so I want to tell you to be responsible, so take the pledge along with me.
Jawn, wouldn't there be something cool about saying that's really none of your business?
Absolutely, but come on, most 17-year-olds really don't know how to respond that way. Now, when you're grown and you're sexy and you know that you don't want people in your business, you know to tell people that. But most of these people are pretty proud of the fact that they've abstained, because the opposite of that is the ones who's sliding down the stripper pole.
But even John Stamos is cashing into this fascination in his web series Losing It, where he has celebrities chronicle their first sexual encounter.
But I lost my virginity to my now wife.
I love it.
Which is pretty cool.
He was a good-looking guy, but I can't describe...
David Hasselhoff?
Ew!
But I do wonder, is there a difference than there was 10 years ago?
Well, absolutely. I mean, there were times where people used to save these type of stories for their memoirs, their autobiographies. So the fact that John Stamos can create a whole web series about this, it's pretty intriguing. I mean, here's the thing. We've always been fascinated with sex. The internet just makes it, more easily accessible for us to know from tweets and Facebook posts and things like that about what's going on in people's lives. But we used to wait for memoirs to come out. Some of the best-selling books in the world are celebrities who finally told about everybody they were sleeping with. So, I mean, we still have like 80 and 90-year-old celebrities who are telling these type of stories. So John Stamos making a web series about this was absolutely brilliant.
And then I wonder, though, is there fallout, right? If you're Britney Spears and you go on and on about how you want to be a virgin until you get married, and then it leaks from someone else that that was not, in fact, true, does that undermine your brand?
You definitely have fallout that way, and here's my theory. Sex sells, but then it also sets you up for failure. Take Christina Aguilera. She was the girl who was dirty until she became fluffy. So the moment she lost her sexiness to some people, put on a few pounds, then they were making Miss Piggy jokes about her. So you have to be careful when you embrace the sexuality, because it's a routine that some people just can't keep up. How many of us want folks like Madonna and Cher to finally put on some clothes, and they're like 70 years old, still trying to sell sex? And we don't want it.
Yeah, but you know what? There was so much blowback, right? When Miley had her dance.
Pun intended, Alicia. Pun intended. Blowback.
Oh, I got it. No, I got
joke.
it. Sorry, I was just losing it. No, I got it. So there was so much blowback, right, with Miley's VMA performance, and everyone freaking out about what this means for America's teens. and everyone worrying that there were managers, that there were music execs involved who'd pushed her to do this, forced her to do this so that they could cash out. I have to believe that there is a similar team trying to make the case to some of these young artists that they should go out there and publicly declare that they are going to save themselves for marriage. Is it not just as bad?
You know what? I agree with you, but that's not a bad thing. Telling somebody to give the presentation, the perception that they're living morally correct, according to, what we believe is right, is a good thing. We know that teenagers are impressionable, and they love to emulate these artists. So we don't want young girls running around America groping married men with their tongue sticking out in flesh-colored swimsuits and looking like the Purdue chicken. We don't want that, Alicia.
I don't know about that. I don't know that I completely agree. But Jawn and Corey, thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, an open letter to the parents of America. Stay with us.